We have some release dates, we have some delays, and we have some DLC coming at you.
Yeah, we do.
Stay tuned.
This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin.
I'm Patrick.
And we're here bringing you the gaming news as we do every week. There's some news.
Some news
That we'll talk about.
News, yeah.
And our topic of the episode show is going to be movies that you would like to see as video games. Because sometimes when I'm sitting there watching a movie, I'm like, man, I would love to play this part. and we think that would be fun. So we reached out to our audience and we're like, hey, what would you like to see?
Yes.
So we got some pretty good answers on that. And then our main topic, which will be in a separate video if you're watching on YouTube, is going to be the idea of fake gaming news and clickbait. And what does that mean? How do you learn to trust your source?
Because we have multiple times of that happening in the past week or so.
This week we have several things that are the headline does not match what is actually stated, and so we want to kind of help you learn how to protect yourself from that.
Exactly.
But
that'll be in the main quest. Let's do the actual our roundup of news, if you will. The important
roundup.
stuff
That's something completely different.
Okay, well, it's our summarizations of the things that happened in the news to tell you what you may have missed in the news in the week.
Yes.
Right. So starting off, like we do, if it comes up, is the backwards compatibility for Xbox, because Xbox has continued to give this out, and we want to give you some news about it because no one else is. Starting out with Earth Defense Force. This is the Insect Armageddon I guess version. This is so
Earth Defense Force is fun, and it knows it's dumb, and that's one of the reasons I like it.
It is ridiculous. It is dumb, but at the same time, I like Pacific Rim, so I can't really talk that much about this. One thing that I will say that I would play this over is probably one of the F1 games. I'm just tired of racing games. I'm sure someone's going to tell me 2014 was the pinnacle year for F1, but I'm sorry. It just hasn't hooked me. I don't mind these every now and then, but there are so many racing games that none of them are like hooking me to say, this is why you need to play me.
Yeah. The other thing is that racing games tend to be like at the peak of whatever technology it is that you have right then. So it's hard to go back. I loved Gran Turismo 2 at the time, but trying to play it now is pretty awful.
I know. I agree. It is a litmus test for graphics, because you can talk about a new console, a new version of like you said, a Forza or whatever.
Yeah.
Like people talk about, okay, how's the frame rate? What are the weather conditions? If you're putting, if it's a racing game on PC, let's max out everything. How can it handle it? And that's kind of where I keep racing games in my mind. But I do like Street Fighter, and Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition is also backwards compatible, which I think is great. Again, more games that I think deserve that backwards compatibility, that deserve they're in your catalog if you have them digitally, so why not bring them over? And being able to do this with games that you love is wonderful. When Red Dead Redemption was backwards compatible, I immediately downloaded it and played the first 3 hours of the game, because I was so happy that not only is this in my collection, but I can play it on my current console. I wanted to see how it ran. It ran pretty well. I wanted to see that, and I don't know, maybe it's just the satisfaction of I don't necessarily have to have a 360 in my house, and I get access to all these games.
Yeah.
So very happy about that. Also happy about Fallen Legion.
Yeah. Fallen Legion got bumped up a week.
Yes.
That's a game we've been looking forward to for a while. It's a game that has a PS4 and a Vita version, and you know how much we love our Vita. And so I also really like this because there's a lot of decisions and processes and different things that you can do within the game that affect the story, that affect the outcome, and also in the PlayStation version, you are playing one side of the conflict. In the Vita version, you're playing the other side of the conflict. You're playing basically the invading force. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how those work, how they play together, things like that.
And we'll be talking more about that in our review, because we have review codes for this game that we were given, so we can review the game.
Yes.
At least the PS4 game version.
Just a bit behind the curtain, we got the PS4 code, and so we will have those reviews up for you. We're getting the Vita version tomorrow as we record this, and then the embargo lifts on Tuesday, like about 24 hours later. And I don't have the ability to commit all of those 24 hours to Fallen Legion.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a week with the game. The review will be out a little bit later than anybody else. But I think that it's more important for me to be able to have a review that stands up than a review right out the gate.
Especially with a, you know, if this was a Vita and PS4 game that was the same game on each console, then I would say, you know what, let's just go ahead and go with the PS4 version. In this case, the different perspective involved. I'm playing through the PS4 version, and you've watched some of my playthrough as well, and you could see the holes in the characters and the actions that they're taking, going, yeah, that could be a bad thing.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And this is something that, frankly, I've not seen before.
Yeah.
And you know that's one of my favorite things to find in a game, is something that I've never seen before.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to that, and that's kind of how our plan for the Fallen Legion PS4 and Vita versions reviews are coming out.
Exactly.
So we'll have that. But we are excited for those that get it.
Definitely.
As a bonus.
Definitely. So far, I really enjoy it, but we'll reserve full review until later. Also coming later, because it's not out yet, is WWE 2K18, which they announced the pre-order on this. By the way, you can get Kurt Angle if you pre-order that, so which I think is great, because he has come back into WWE recently, because he was in TNA, now Impact Wrestling, whatever, after the buyout. But he's back in WWE after his absence, so they have the rights to him, obviously. Putting him in the game is great, because he was one of my favorite wrestlers when he first came out. The extreme goody-goody two-shoes, I'm an American, I drink, literally coming out there and drinking milk. Like, in his, with his legit Olympic medals. I mean, I really like him, and he's progressed so much as a person, as a character, that I'm excited about that. But the additional news on this is that it will be coming to Switch.
With full features, which is impressive.
Very impressive, and prediction on that, horrible frame rate and clipping. Because I love wrestling games. I love wrestling games. I'm playing, or I've played off and on since I got it, WWE 2K17. I played WWE 2K16 when it was free, and that hooked me to buy the new one, which is excellent. That's how you do it.
That works.
But I picked this guy, and I wanted someone who was like an old school, like 80s, like Macho Man Randy Savage kind of guy, but like a little bit younger, no beard. So clean shaven, really long hair, like Ultimate Warrior style, and the hair like just clips through his shoulders, and and like every now and then when I'm playing, like, I'll lose frames, and I can't lose frames in a game like that when I'm fighting, you know. So,
we'll see how that plays out, but we're not particularly hopeful. We are glad that it's coming to Switch.
Yes,
and we hope that it will be good. But the franchise has not necessarily set up our expectations that high. So we'll see when that comes out, and we'll probably review it and let you know how that goes.
Definitely.
There's also a little bit of a story. There's a Call of Duty commentator named Jack Campbell, who was essentially kink shamed, and because he's a commentator for Call of Duty matches, and apparently it came out that he had like a foot fetish or something, and so the internet reacted as the internet frequently does, and just was like, ha ha ha, you like feet.
Yeah.
So what? And I'm gonna get on my soapbox here briefly.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to the next story. But okay, what happens with two consenting adults is none of your goddamn business.
Yeah.
What Patrick's kinks are, you don't know. You don't need to know. What my kinks are, PM me. No, like everybody has things that they like,
Sure.
that they dislike, that they are ashamed of, and as a culture, we have to move past this. We have to move beyond the juvenile as far as this is concerned. And even the people who were coming to Jack Campbell's, they were coming to support him. They did so in ways that were like, oh yeah, I like it when a girl poops on my head. Ha ha ha. It's like, no, Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
If you like feet, rock on.
Go for
you
it.
do you. Find somebody who wants to show you their feet, and you enjoy those feet.
Yeah. And what's sad about this is he's 20.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about someone who they're exploring. This may be his thing, or maybe it's something that he's into right now. He's really young. He's only 20 years old. I mean, he's in England, so he can drink there. But like, if he was here, he couldn't even drink yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
and okay, as someone who is even before I started figuring out my kinks, feet. Quentin Tarantino is into feet.
he is.
Okay,
I don't care.
This is a very common thing. It's not that big of a deal. Get over it.
I saw the the discussion about it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting, and that's it. I don't care.
And that's basically what
I learned some very interesting things about some people this weekend, and I went, huh, it's interesting, and that was it.
That's where it needs to end.
It was like, oh, that's a revelation, and it was not like, I've not made fun of people or,
and it doesn't.
It's not in recent times.
It doesn't really
mature.
change anything about the person.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So I'm going to stop talking about that because this was only partially related to video games. But I just wanted to encourage you to allow people to be themselves, and everybody has secrets that they would rather not share with people.
Yeah.
There's no reason for this.
You should see Taylor Swift's if you're into that. Anyways, let's talk about Neo. Neo DLC's coming out.
Please God, let's talk about Neo.
So there's Neo DLC, the next Neo DLC, which is the second, I believe.
Yeah,
the first one.
The first one we went and took out Matsuri Masamune.
Yeah, with
and I like that little dude, the one-eyed dragon.
Yeah,
that dude is cool.
So I'm actually playing the trailer from that right now because I don't have the trailer for the next one.
Yeah,
the second piece of DLC. Going to Osaka Castle,
and Sanada Yukimura is one of my favorites. This dude is amazing. Like, he's, again, not in this trailer, but yeah, he is one of the historical, really phenomenal character, and this is part of the grand unification of Japan, and it's wonderful. It makes me really, really happy.
No, I agree.
So yeah. So I'm looking forward to all that, and so I'll probably be playing that. There's one new area, some new weapons, some new armor, yokai, trophies, all that kind of stuff, and so we'll probably be checking that out. I'm still actually working on the main part of the game, but if you're into Neo, as we are, shoot us a message. Let us know what you think about this.
Yeah.
The End Is Nigh by Edmund Macmillan, released this week, and it's wonderful. It's so much fun. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but Edmund Macmillan, the creator, said that it's coming to PS4. He doesn't know when, but it's coming to PS4 someday. I don't know when that'll be, but he says that it can happen, and it's not an easy game, but it is a simple game.
Yeah.
And I think that working with Nicholas, working with Tyrone Rodriguez and all those people, I think that within 1 year we'll be able to play that on PS4.
I wouldn't doubt that. I think that he's shown that if he says something, if he says that he wants to put a game on a platform, that it may not happen immediately, but it's definitely going to happen. Yeah. And I that's the whole trust thing. When you get a developer or a game developer in this case, or director, whatever you want to call him, creator, when they say something like that, I have so much trust in him that I see that and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
it's coming.
It's coming, and I can. I'm not gonna wait a Kingdom Hearts era for that. 2 freaking generations of.
Yeah. So have you watched the first season of Castlevania?
I've watched the first episode, and I love it.
Did you like how they had Dracula's face up there, like from Castlevania
Yes.
1? It has his face in the sky, and it's wonderful.
I think I knew it was going to be good when they announced the trailer for Castlevania. I was excited about it. I know I made jokes about the old Game Master NES cartoon and everything.
Yeah.
But when people talk about anime, I'm very selective on anime. I haven't watched like a lot of recent stuff unless it's something that's been curated by Andy or somebody else.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite anime was Vampire Hunter D. So I think that vampires lend themselves very well to anime. A lot of stuff lends itself well, but I love the darkness and the gore and the so good.
Yeah,
And
it is really magnificent. I have finished it.
Yeah.
I like the story arc. I like the way they're kind of bringing in from several different. I've seen some Castlevania 1 stuff, a couple of Castlevania 2 things. The main story seems to be mostly from Castlevania 3, but there's also some Symphony of the Night stuff.
Yeah.
Also, they were kind of spoilery in the trailer, in my opinion. But
A little bit.
But so the first season was 4 episodes. Within 24 hours of that, they said, okay, 8 more episodes are coming your way, and I'm excited about that because honestly, the first 4 episodes feels like a prologue.
yeah.
It's probably about, I don't know, 90 minutes to 100 minutes, somewhere. Like, it's not very long.
Yeah.
Just take an evening, about the amount of time you would take to watch a movie. Sit down, watch it. I recommend it.
Yeah, and it's good. Not for kids.
No.
But I think it was really I only seen the first episode, but I think it's a really good take on the Castlevania mythology.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that they got 8 more in a second season.
Absolutely.
Because I know animation like this is not cheap.
Yeah.
This isn't the cheap CGI crap that I hate Nick and Disney and all these other people are doing.
Well, it's also there's also cheap versions of anime, and this is not that either.
Yeah.
Like the most of the time, I can appreciate chibi art, but if you have an entire anime that's mostly that, it mostly just feels cheap and rushed to me.
Yeah.
This is not that. The artwork is beautiful. The characters are well written, and not only are they well drawn and everything, but the dialogue and the character development and the character motivations are really fun because you have the reluctant hero, and that's fun for me.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Rainbow Six Siege has added loot boxes, which seems to be a fairly common thing now, as far as basically as far as games as service type goes, because it works really well for Overwatch. It works really well for a bunch of other things, and it's something that allows them to continue to develop the game. Excuse me, and it continues to allow them to keep development on it and allow them to bring free content. And that's one of the things that kind of helps keep a game going, keeps the player base interested. And I don't spend money on loot boxes, but I know that there are people who do. And the loot boxes in Rainbow Six Siege seem to be like quality ones. They're not the pay $5 to win type of stuff. It's, hey, here's a loot box and you can look pretty or whatever.
Which
and
I can
like
appreciate.
that.
I can appreciate when I see something like this. When like you said, if it's not pay to win, I look at that and those cosmetic adjustments. I look at that as a way to support your game developer.
Absolutely.
To continue to support something. If you purchased a game, for $60 or whatever, and you're really enjoying it, and you've been playing it for 6 or 8 months, that is a lot of time.
Yeah.
Compared to the amount of money that you've given, and something like that to give back, as you're enjoying the game, I think makes sense. I think that this type of microtransaction is good and is healthy for video games, as long as I know people joke about horse armor and everything because that's basically how all this crap started.
That was how it started, but at the same time, that was also for this game that had, you know, it was a $60 price.
Yep.
And then the horse armor didn't do anything, and you didn't really get much else for it. Whereas now, basically, if you have something like a loot box system, that usually means that the developer is going to continue to pour out, you know, new stuff, new content, new adventures, new ideas, and that's a much healthier version of the horse armor.
Now, if the horse armor made sure that your horse didn't die when you jump off of a cliff, that would be cool, because I did that.
You jumped off a cliff with a horse?
Well, I did it by accident.
You're a murderer.
I did it by accident.
You're a manslaughter.
I was trying to...
Because if there's no intent, it's manslaughter,
It's manslaughter.
Right? So horse slaughter?
Horse slaughter. So...
What do they call...
Glue making?
No, not that. What do they call the equestrian... Equestrian slaughter? Equestria slaughter? I don't know.
Equislaughter? Equislaughter.
Equislaughter.
Well, I was trying to ease down a mountain, and as I was easing down a mountain...
you didn't.
It went, yeah, and then I fell a considerable height, and it killed the horse. So that was sad. The horse armor didn't do anything on that.
It was.
Another thing that I don't think is sad is that Steam...
Well, I mean...
banned some stuff. I don't think it's sad.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, see, what I would have done with that is, like, when the horse fell, it probably hit for at least 40,000. 40,000 is the number of people that Valve banned. There was a crazy spike, like the day after the Steam sale.
Yep.
Apparently, what a lot of people were doing was they would create an account to go on and test cheats and see if they could get away with them in the game. And so, you know, this way they could spend $3, see if they could do the cheat in game, and then they would go back to their main account.
That way you don't ruin your main account, because if you've had a Steam account, you have a huge library in there.
Right.
Yeah. Which I get. Cheating is still not right, but...
Right. But it was really interesting to see how Valve played this off, because they were like, okay, we'll let this go for a little bit, see how it goes, and they have the numbers, they have the ability to track this kind of stuff, and so they could see, oh, okay, people are looking to do this thing, that's kind of clever. No,
you're not.
You don't get to do that.
Which is, I mean, I'm okay with them doing this, but at the same time, I would be one of those people if I was trying out something like that, and like, you know, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to create another account. And they're banning. I mean, unless they had a way to tie them together. I haven't seen people. The accounts that they banned are the sock puppet accounts, if you will, the fake accounts that someone created. Someone may or may not have created, allegedly created. My client did not create.
We should have sock puppets on at some point. How's your puppetry skill?
Sorry.
I'll teach you.
I'll do it.
All right. Next bit of news we have coming out is Gran Turismo Sport is coming out. We have an official release date, finally. They're releasing it on my birthday in Europe and the day before. And for those of you who, you know, haven't yet planned to get me a present, my birthday is October the 18th. It'll be coming out on the 17th in the US. I'm looking forward to this because, like, I don't... Like you said, we don't play a lot of racing games, but Gran Turismo is the pinnacle as far as PlayStation is concerned.
Oh, I agree.
I like Forza, but the sound is what brings me to Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do, seeing the different cars, and seeing how it goes there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say Gran Turismo is one of the only racing ones. Like, if that comes out on Games with Gold for free, happy.
Yep. And then the next one that we have is Ace Attorney. Somebody did a fan sub.
Yeah.
And Capcom shut them down and said, "No, you cannot has." And YouTube said, "Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can.
It's fine
because
it's fair use, and you haven't done this, and so they're not interfering with you. So
yeah. And this is a fan sub. This is a fan translation, which I have the Japanese one here of a game that is not out here.
Right, and then there are no plans to bring it here. so why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that for me with something like this, when I realized that we're talking about a video game that has no plans of coming here an indefinite amount of time to show this story, this is not money that they are losing. I think that developers should understand that, and most developers are understanding that now, that that the actual cinematics from the game is not what gets people to play the game.
Yeah.
They want to experience the story. The cinematics help.
Yeah. I mean, it's frankly a different audience.
It is a different audience. That being said, we've been putting up video game movies on our channel, specifically for people who either missed a game, they're trying to catch up on story, maybe it's a game that they have played,
or they've tried 3 different games in the series and they just can't get into it.
So,
which is why I'll be watching Uncharted.
So, you can watch now the actual story, but even then you're missing so much that is in the game, even in that edit. So
yeah,
it's worth a shot.
I'll live.
Yeah. We got
unfortunate news.
We did get unfortunate news. A slight delay on Ni no Kuni 2 for 2 months.
Which means it is now my most anticipated game of 2018. So
yeah.
Suck it, Red Dead, because Ni no Kuni is just it's an incredible universe. I love the way that it plays, and I love the fact, because I'm not going to get to play Red Dead Redemption when my girls are up.
Yeah,
because that's going to be a lot of people shooting people. So yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 Ni no Kuni was wonderful. It was one of the best PS3. Speaking of kinks, on the video there, she's got her high heels in his shoulder and pushing down, and we're not here to judge.
To each his own.
But yeah, so the characters are wonderful. The magic system is wonderful. I'm really hoping that they did clean up some of the combat issues, because it looks like you're actually doing some fighting as the character, and you still get to have your Pokemon coming on with you.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, and I really like the antagonists, the protagonists, the way the world goes, the music. Everything about the first one was glorious, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens when Ghibli gets to do this on a PS4. It's going to be so wonderful, and I cannot wait.
We were discussing this. I recently went to a friend's house to watch Howl's Moving Castle because he hadn't seen it, and he had never seen like any Miyazaki films and stuff. So someone mentioned, man, I'd love to see a Miyazaki kind of like video game, and I'm like,
you'll never guess. Yeah,
I know one. So I think that this is a 2-month delay. Oh well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I don't like to complain about delays, but I'm really looking forward to this game, and I would rather have it fully done.
Yeah, it's nothing in comparison to the delay that Kingdom Hearts is going to have.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be coming out in 2018.
Allegedly.
Which we were talking to Amanda online about. She was, and Chris said, our friend Amanda said she was so excited about it coming out, and Chris, our friend, said it'll probably be delayed. And she's like, no, they announced the year. We're like, that means nothing.
It's Square. They announced Kingdom Hearts Versus 13 originally to come out 7 years before the game came out.
Exactly. So who knows?
And
who knows when
briefly going back to the previous story we have in the chat, he says that combat in Ni no Kuni reminds him of Tales of Symphonia, or
Symphonia.
Tales of Symphonia. Yeah. And the Tales combat is a lot of fun, and this is similar, but it is also unique and really, really fun to play. So if you have a PS3, I highly recommend it. And if not, wait until the beginning of next year and play Tales 2 or play
Tales 2. I'm sure that it'll
See, now he's got us thinking of it as Tales.
I'm sure that Ni no Kuni 2 will get you up to speed enough in the story to understand what's going on. A good game does that, I believe.
And I think that the world that they've created, I mean, we've seen Ding Dong Dell, we haven't seen really any characters from the previous one. So I think it'll be a new threat that's coming to that world. and like the world is wonderful, the characters are wonderful, and I cannot wait for that game to come out. So other things that are coming out. Jackbox 1 and 2 are coming to Switch,
Yes.
which is awesome because Jackbox is so fun. Jackbox is the premier party game. Arnie Niekamp, love that guy.
Arnie.
So that's coming to Switch. We don't have a date on it, but the Jackbox Party Pack, You Don't Know Jack and Fibbage and Quiplash are some really fantastic games that you can convince people who aren't into video games to play. And like the closer you are to these friends, the better you can do. And the game is only as dirty as you make it, so you can play it with parents and stuff.
I've been saying repeatedly that I want to bring it over and play with my in-laws.
Yeah.
Because my in-laws are like cool as shit anyways. But like we can have mature conversations, but we played a game like Fibbage and some others that they were like playing on paper. It's like, oh, well, everyone write down a fake name and like everyone has to like rip off a sheet of paper and like hand it in.
Well, and then there's like, people that can like recognize handwriting and
and I was like, I know it. I told them about how it works. You use your controller on that, and they're like, oh, that's great, because when I said, oh, it's a video game, they immediately. I mean,
eyes glaze over.
Yeah, they've never been gamers ever. I mean, so when they thought of like, oh, I have to have a controller in my hand. No, you're just going to type stuff on your cell phone. Oh yeah,
or draw stuff.
Or draw stuff on your phone. Yeah,
it's fine.
Which I think is great. I think it works really well for the Switch because the Switch is so multiplayer and party centric that I think that'd be really cool. Especially, well, the only question that I'll have. I would hope there was a way for it to broadcast to if you're out and about. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing it's not going to be able to do that because you need a Wi-Fi signal to be able to log in. So that's going to be a disadvantage. If you're out.
Well, there is actually an offline system, and it has like I think it's 50 games that you can play offline, and possibly with the Switch version they'll introduce more. Okay, cool. But the way to play this game is get a bunch of people, get some drinks, and just play. This game is
we had like a full how many was it? 12 people playing.
Yeah, we had like
the full capacity on a handful of games. We played at the party. It's totally worth it.
So yeah, and one of the things, if you've been watching the show pretty frequently, you know that we love free trials, and we think that it is a fantastic way to sell your game.
Yeah,
and Mass Effect gets it. They're giving us a 10-hour trial. You can go through like the prologue, and like you can explore the first planet. So like I guess theoretically you could go further than that in the first 10 hours, but they're giving you a really good taste, a really good look at, hey, this is what the game. Okay, here's the prologue, so you can learn how to do things, and then this is what the game is actually like. And so you get to see that, look at that, find out what's going on there.
Yeah, so I'll be playing it because it's out. It's going to be out for free. So I'll be playing it this week to give kind of a rundown of how I feel about this.
Okay.
I'm also going to be starting to play Demon's Souls because I've been playing Dark Souls a lot lately, and I recently found a way to stream out of my PS3. So, yes.
It makes me so happy.
Going back to the first Souls game, be streaming that, cutting it up on YouTube so people can watch through the playthrough. So this is kind of me going back and playing Demon's Souls, which is a game that I love, and I haven't played since a year after it came out or so. I haven't played it since I think I lent it to you. So which brought us to this huge journey that we're on. So a lot of it, I'm sure there will be things that I wish were done better when it came to certain aspects of it. But the level design, I still love the level design for this game, and I love that accessing it through the Nexus is one of the coolest things on this. So you look forward to that.
I think one of my favorite things, and I know this is the one where we're supposed to like go through everything. We're supposed to go through it fast, but I have to talk about Demon's Souls because Demon's Souls Demon Souls, more than any of the other Souls games, except for maybe Bloodborne, feels like a world where people live. And I understand that you can get away from that a little bit with Dark Souls, and it's like, everybody's dead anyway, what does it matter? But like, the world feels like a place where people would live. There's not doors that are locked for no reason. Everything is a defensive mechanism, and you are assaulting a fortress.
You are.
And so it makes sense for the defenses to be set up in these places to protect.
Well,
it's wonderful.
You're right. Bloodborne, people live there, but they're, you know, again, defending against who they think are beasts.
Well, and
rightfully are.
And the residents are locked behind doors.
Exactly. But Dark Souls is the fantasy post-apocalyptic, pre-apocalyptic, pre-post-apocalyptic, whatever you want to call it. There's so much death that's going on there that when you do run into someone, you're like, what are you even doing here? Like,
going hollow.
Going hollow, apparently. Every now and then you find someone who's like, oh, well, I'm killing hollows too. Okay. And then every now and then you find someone who's like, I love maps. And you're like, what? Really? You got all the way over here to get a map?
And they're
I would have
also,
locked myself in that house.
And they also forget that they're there to get maps. And like once the character, okay, like, and yeah, we're gonna make fun of Dark Souls too.
Yes.
But Dark Souls, when a character gets there, usually they just hang out there for the rest of the game, and that's true of Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. And
once they get to the whatever the home thing,
and Bloodborne, they just kind of chill in the same area. In Demon Souls, they would get up and move. They would be like, I mean, the Nexus. I mean, yeah, it's safe, but I'm going mad. I have to leave.
Yeah.
And you can mess up and there can be a homicidal maniac going through and just slaughtering the folks.
Yeah. Which, and I also, you talk about like getting up and moving, like the characters literally. That was one of the coolest things to me when playing the game and seeing. I always forget her name, Pancake Lady.
Made in Black.
Made in Black. I don't know why I said that. Like the reason is because I'm thinking like Firekeeper, and it keeps like changing. And I'm gonna refer to them as wrong names because I've been playing Dark Souls. But she would just get up and she'd be like sitting over here and then moving over here, and that was so different to me. So it's like, oh, but you're supposed to, like, from a game perspective, I'm like, but that you're a checkpoint. You're a checkpoint. You sit here.
But the fact that they move around, I also really enjoy. Like there are relationships and developments between the characters.
Yeah.
I will talk about this on the stream. Please watch the Demon Souls stream because it's wonderful. If you haven't experienced Demon Souls, I highly encourage you to do that. And Patrick will be experiencing it, and I cannot wait.
I'll be going back so you can laugh at all my deaths. Yeah. Anyways, let us know in the comments what you think. If you think Demon Souls is the best, because it is, and what you think about all this great news, and if you think Kingdom Hearts is going to be delayed until 2019. I say holiday 2019. Anyways, see you later, guys.